verbal or life.
Welcome back. Welcome to my channel, Verbal on Life. My name is Noel. And the Democrats and a bunch of politicians are freaking out because Trump and Doge are just eliminating all the wasteful spending. In this video, let's take a look at Jesse Watters' Primetime, one of the greatest shows pointing out the truth and what's going on out there. Let's take a look. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. I'm trying to set up my studio, new look. Hopefully you enjoy. But with that said, let's take a look at Jesse Watters' Primetime real quick. It should be a great show. Here we go.
Welcome to Jesse Watters' Primetime tonight.
No, we're doing another thing. If they don't report for work, we're firing them. That's another scam. If I'm staying home, my golf handicap would get down to very low number. I'd try and get on tour.
The Elon Musk order that's making everyone go crazy.
I couldn't stand it. Don't get angry. Donald, don't get angry, please.
It's crazy that mostly Democrats are the ones complaining by now, but eventually it's going to be all politicians.
This chapter will be written not simply by whoever occupies the Oval Office. The American story will be written by you.
Kamala gets a participation trophy.
Because the fight is worth it.
I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
Homan and the Democrats on a collision course.
If I offend anybody today, I don't give a
Plus,
Why wasn't Joe this busy? They call him Sleepy Joe, don't they? He must have been asleep.
This is going to be a great show. Jesse Watters' Primetime. Remember to hit the video and like. Let's take a look.
what'd you do last week? If you work for the federal government and you can't answer that by midnight, you might be getting doged. This weekend, every DC bureaucrat got this message in their inbox. Please reply to this email with 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week.
And you know, part of the reason why Elon Musk sent this out to people is to see who doesn't respond. Do we have any people not even working, not even checking their email, doing the basics?
With a deadline. And if you don't answer, that's kind of your answer.
I thought it was great because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist.
I can tell you what I did last week. Worked on a federal holiday, plugged Dana's new book, pushed Doge dividend checks, you're welcome, shut down Jessica on the 5, politely, and sold some Fox merch. Cha-ching.
I mean, what did I do last week? I don't know. Got up, went downstairs, checked my phone, checked my email, and checked the mailbox outside. There you go. Oh, and I also took out the garbage on Sunday.
Now, I came up with that in 5 minutes. If I had 48 hours like those federal workers do, it would have been even better. But when I was putting together the list, I was inspired. And now I've asked the entire Primetime team to send me their 5 bullet points on what they accomplished last week. And the deadline's at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And we're going to send you and show you what their bullet points are tomorrow. And I'll let you know if I fired anybody. Nobody on my team was angry when I sent the email. But for some reason, federal workers are.
Tell us about this email and what it was like receiving it and what you all have talked about after getting it.
Sure. I got this email Saturday afternoon, about 3 p.m., and I felt absolutely infuriated getting this email with a demand within 48 hours to provide a response on what I did within the last week or face term.
Wow, these people are not used to requests from anybody on a weekend. Because, you know, most federal employees, they say they work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and refuse to deal with anything on Saturday or Sunday because that's their day off. That's their day. So you could say that fact, the fact that I do not work on weekends, therefore I didn't reply.
Termination. This is clearly an attempt from Elon Musk to harass and bully and intimidate the federal workforce.
Putting together a list of accomplishments was maybe the most work some of these bureaucrats did all year. If it's that hard for you to name 5 things you've accomplished in a week, that should tell you something. And if it makes you mad or infuriated that you're being asked, that should also tell you something.
And everything that's going on, if you know that Elon and the federal government are looking to just fire people and they're looking to see who are the grifters, maybe that's one more reason why you should reply and get it over with. Don't be part of that group that doesn't do anything, that doesn't reply to any emails, and they're just selling, getting a government check, doing nothing.
Tells me a lot of these federal workers don't want to justify their jobs because they feel they're entitled. And that's a bad attitude. And that attitude's about to change. And was it just me, or did that worker sound like she was reading from a script? I think I saw her eyes moving back and forth. And what, has this woman never had a review? If the answer is no, then that's a huge problem. People are getting laid off. Tell me why you should stay. If the CEO of Bank of America asks me, Jesse, what did you accomplish last week? I don't run to CNN and cry and tell the anchor I'm mad. If I've been doing a good job, I'm psyched for the opportunity to present my boss with a list of my amazing accomplishments.
Again, people refuse to work outside of the 9 to 5. If you ask them at 6 o'clock, 7, they're not going to answer. That's just how they live.
So I can get a raise and a promotion and keep helping the company. You either have a winning attitude or the attitude of a loser. The winner loves the email. The loser is whiny.
This nonsensical email from Elon Musk acting like we're in kindergarten.
The new Trump administration is reveling in its bare knuckle approach to government.
This is so sloppy with the way Elon Musk is handling this.
Look at that. Look at that millionaire, multi-millionaire complaining. I'm assuming his boss is telling them to go out there and complain. You know, there's a way of telling those TV people what to say. So he's been told, go out and complain.
Why is the media treating these workers like the CEO's spoiled brat son, you know, who comes and goes as he pleases, drinks at lunch, and harasses the secretaries? He's untouchable. We all know the guy. The media is treating the federal workforce like they're untouchable. Oh, you can't make them come to the office. You can't fire them. You definitely can't log into their computers, and you can't email them on a weekend. These are public servants. They're supposed to serve the public. When we ask, how are you serving us? That's an issue. Maybe it's because they're not serving us. They're serving themselves. Journalist Chris Rufo just uncovered a deep state sex chat at the National Security Agency. Chat logs show intel officials were using a chat room to share their fetishes and kinks and brag about getting sex changes. And it goes
again, those groups that refuse to work outside of their working hours, they do things like that. They build cohorts, they build groups that they have these type of conversations, this kind of relationship with those groups. They do get together outside of work, but only special groups that are getting away with stealing money from the government. You could call it stealing or just making money outside.
Goes back 2 years, a transgender sex chat while they were on the clock. When you think about it, this was a taxpayer-funded transgender sex chat. Here's a taste, viewer warning. This one guy had just had his manhood surgically removed. One of the weirdest things that gives me euphoria is when I pee. I don't have to push anything down to make sure it aims right.
Disgusting. Jesus. Why did Jesse put this?
Here's another. Getting my blank zapped by a laser was shocking. Fine, I'll just do one more. This one guy's talking about how excited he is that the bulge is gone and he can wear bikinis after his sex change surgeries. I know. And these are intel officials. These people are in charge of guarding the nation's deepest secrets and spying on our enemies. How mentally tough are these people if they're having doctors chop off their body parts and then celebrating it on a work computer? Do you know how easy it is to blackmail somebody like that? Do you know how China or Russia or the Iranians, what they would do if they got their hands on this?
How disgusting is this conversation? And for a lot of groups, this is the norm. Like, you need to say, yeah, that's cool, but it just sounds brutal. Let's be honest here.
First, they'd laugh, but then they'd compromise every single one of these reckless agents. Elon asked, "What did you accomplish at work last week?" "I sexted with my colleagues about pouring hot wax on my nipples." This is what happens when 96% of the federal workforce works from home. They're having sex change surgeries while they're working from home, and their bosses don't even know about it.
And using taxpayer money, the money that they made, to do all of these crazy things because they got the time and they got the money. Think about it. Imagination just runs wild.
I bet we paid for those sex change surgeries. And then they're all in the group chat all day. "Hey, how was your operation?" "Mine was great. Still a little sore, but now I can live my own truth."
If you don't report to work, that's another scam. Who the hell, if I'm staying home, let's see, my golf handicap would get down to very.
That's crazy. The president talks like that. Who the hell? And not scared of being cancer himself.
Low number. You'd be shocked if I told you the real number, but I would be so good. I'd try and get on tour. I would be so good. I'd call up. I'd say, "Listen, I'm really working here. Where are my clubs? Where are my clubs?"
The Senate's even being put to work. Majority Leader Thune is making senators work late into the night. And ready? They're working on Fridays now. Yeah. And no surprise, senators are already complaining. They want to go home. Democrat Senator Mark Kelly, also a pilot, says he used to rent a plane and fly himself home every Friday. Alas, he's barely flown on that plane this year. He says, unless I want to do it on the weekend, and that's if I get back on the weekend.
And that guy used to be an astronaut and then went into government work.
We're $36 trillion in debt because of guys like that. And they're complaining they have to work on a Friday. Not even a summer Friday, a Friday in February. USAID has been emptied out. 2,000 workers were just fired. Should have taken the buyout while you had the chance.
Thank God.
It does make sense, though. They didn't want to leave because the gravy train was just too thick and tasty.
Yep.
For Haiti alone, USAID doled out $2 billion in contracts.
Jesus.
Guess how much of that money actually went to Haiti?
0?
2%. Only 2% of the $2 billion went to where it was supposed to. Half of it went to all of these aid groups based around D.C. You can't give it to Haiti directly. They'd just steal the money. So we're going to give it to all of our liberal friends who won't steal the money, and then they'll give it to Haiti. But
Haiti needs so much help. They really do. They got to rebuild everything, including the government. The government got sacked. A lot of people just don't know the truth about Haiti, and the news is not going to talk about it because then that'll wake people up. So they're just stealing for themselves. It cannot be for the government of Haiti or the people of Haiti.
Didn't. Are liberals just stealing from poor black people and calling it compassion? A New York Post report says the Red Cross raised $500 million for Haiti. And that money was supposed to build homes for 130,000 people.
Yeah.
They built 6. $500 million to build 6 homes in Haiti.
Again, these facts need to be published on newspapers, on television, major television networks. They need to be called out. That's the only way you're going to get them to use the money for what it's supposed to be for, to help. not packing it up and selling it to Ukraine? How can we be sending billions to Ukraine, but here next to us, Haiti needs more help?
Where home is not really Mar-a-Lago. And here's a juicy one for you. Meet Latricia Adams. She was an advisor to the Biden White House. How she got that job, I have no idea. The Free Beacon reports that while she was working as a White House advisor, our friend Latricia applied for a contract. And not just any contract, a $20 million contract. This $20 million contract was for environmental justice. And right before Biden leaves office, he gives this $20 million contract to Latricia. Her group, Young, Gifted, and Green, got the $20 million. More like Young, Grifted, and Green.
Shout out to her for figuring out how to get money from the government. Man, that Joe Biden was just giving out money to people like crazy. 20 million for one individual or one small group. That's crazy.
Does Latricia have any background in environmental science? No, not really. 10 years ago, Latricia was a high school Spanish teacher. She has a bachelor's in Spanish.
At least she got a college degree. Shout out to her. But man, 20 million? More people got to do more research on how to get that kind of money.
She's based in Memphis, Tennessee, not the greenest city. And you know what Biden does? Biden audits Pete Hegseth. This lady, Latricia, screaming for an audit. We used to prosecute graft at the Department of Justice. I guess we don't anymore. Latricia can just walk out of the White House with 20 million. What did Latricia do with the 20 million? Well, we went to their website. The only thing they did last year was the Black Maternal and Environmental Health Day. They started a holiday. It's April 4th. These people look really legit. This is exactly why Trump wants to go visit Fort Knox.
We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far, and we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold.
Finding ways.
I don't know. They're saying that the Trump is going to collapse in 30 days, but the man just keep getting better and better and keep exposing more and more the government, because the man is not a politician. So for him, he doesn't care to out other politicians. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a reason to hide anything. So this is like a movie just getting better and better.
Waste, fraud, and abuse isn't even that hard. You can save money with a stroke of a pen.
ODNI itself is a pretty small organization compared to most other elements. But even in that small organization, getting rid of DEI saved American taxpayers roughly $20 million, literally with the stroke of President Trump's pen.
Not even Nancy Pelosi's Doge proof. According to reports, Trump's looking to sell off the 18-story Nancy Pelosi federal building in San Francisco. The building's empty because HHS told its employees not to work there anymore because it's too dangerous. Pelosi's building surrounded by homeless, needles, and prostitutes. It's about time America had a house cleaning.
The fraudsters, liars, cheaters, globalists, and deep state bureaucrats are being sent packing. The illegal alien criminals are being sent home.
The enemy within, like Donald Trump said, they're all just getting outed. He's just putting it out there.
We're draining the swamp and we're restoring government by the people, for the people.
Yeah.
Counselor to President Trump, Alina Habba, is here. So, Alina, are all of these people putting together their 5 bullet points tonight?
I had a hard time putting it into 5, so I'm not sure why it was such an issue. Yes, an email went out asking for accountability, because if you're going to take taxpayer dollars from people's homes that could barely afford to take care of their kids, buy eggs under the Biden administration, you better damn well explain to us what it is you're doing with taxpayer dollars while you're working for the federal government. I was happy to get the email. I'll answer it. There's no problem here when you're actually doing your job.
Yes. Definitely. People should just reply to the email, put it out there. What are they doing? Let me fix this. And make everything easier.
Yeah, so it's like gaslighting, you know, when you ask somebody if they've done something and then all they say is, "Why did you ask? You must be attacking me."
Yeah,
That's pretty much
bullying.
what's happening, bullying me. Yeah. No, it's called doing your job. If you get paid, you have to do your job. And I'll be honest with you, here in the White House, nobody really had an issue with it. We're all so busy. I think that the American people know we're working hard. But if you are taking another job, if you are pretending to work from home, but you're not actually working, and American taxpayers are paying for it, you better be damn sure that President Trump's going to figure it out. Doge is going to cut the waste, cut the fat, and you no longer have a job here. They definitely should have taken that paycheck when they were offering it to them for October.
Yeah.
What was one of Alina Habba's bullet points from last week's list of accomplishments?
Well, I think my biggest bullet point is top secret, so I can't say it, but I can tell you that I did things from speaking to people in the Middle East to child trafficking to making sure our country is better. And at the end of the day, I worked my butt off because that's what I committed to do when I took this job. And if you can't answer something like that with 5, I truly could not put it in 5. I mean, I probably had pages. If you can't answer it, that's a serious problem. And I don't want you working alongside of me, President Trump, or for the American people, because that's my taxpayer dollars too.
Jesus.
Are there people in the White House and in the administration that are just pumped to go to work every day? They're up at the crack of dawn, they're just fighting for the mission. And then you have this other group of people that's just like, oh my God, he's back.
You know, and it's difficult also to work so hard for the government because getting a government paycheck is not the same as getting a paycheck from the private sector. So people that are working for the government, take that into consideration, how hard to work for the small paycheck that you're getting in comparison to when they switch over and go into the private sector to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some people even make millions. So that could be one of the reasons why they don't work so hard, or why they don't even try, or why they don't even care, because you have to care about your job in order to do a good job. So I think that's part of the reason. Government jobs don't get paid as much, so they go to work 9 to 5, and they don't want to hear it after 5 o'clock. They are done. Don't mention to them the job. Don't even go into that conversation. Whereas in the private company job, that's 7 days a week. They're trying their best to always do better, to always do more. So that's part of the reason.
Yeah, so I work in the West Wing, so there's definitely none of that under where I work. But I can tell you the latter definitely exists. You know, I'm good friends with a lot of people that are doing the hiring and the firing, and all of these individuals that are running departments. They're no games. We are all together working hard, and I have heard it. Look, you have people crying, people protesting. If you're wasting American taxpayer dollars to sit outside and hold a beer can or complain about Elon Musk, I have a question for you. What are you actually doing for your constituents? The people that voted for you in, because you're not serving America. So all of that, all the woke stuff, the DEI stuff, the woman that you just showed that got 20 million, there won't be any of that in this administration. It's just not tolerated.
All right. Well, Alina had 10 to 20 bullet points. She had to narrow it down to 5. Good to talk to you, Alina. Thank you.
And also, like, Trump is a billionaire. Elon Musk is a billionaire. So they're doing this job for free because they know the importance of government. How government needs to function. So they could put in the hours, they could do so much. And Elon Musk brought in a bunch of intellectuals that after they finish with Doge, they're going to go back into the private sector and make millions. These are rich kids. Elon Musk is a rich kid. So we kind of need them in government to help things work. And that's their motivation. That's it. They chose one less government bothering them when they're going to work, and they need the government to function properly. And that's a big difference. Now we got all these other workers that are getting fired. They're not making anywhere near Elon Musk money or, you know, multimillionaires. So it's kind of the reason they don't do so well.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Trump just hired another Fox guy.
All right, they're going to go into commercial. So I'm not allowed to play commercials here on YouTube. I will get a strike. So I'm going to fast forward to the show. But yeah, you know, a lot of times when you work for the government, they always say, like, don't put in that much work because you're not getting that much money anyway. And you see everybody else being corrupt. And that motivates new people to be corrupt and not put in as much work and worry more about themselves and less about the government and the job they're supposed to be doing. All right, let's get back to Jesse Watters prime time. Hold on.
I just want to tell you a little story. So we were at the Eiffel Tower having dinner with your wonderful wife and with my wonderful wife, and we came out and he started speaking the French deal. And we didn't have an interpreter, and he was going on and on and on, and I was just nodding, yes, yes, yes. And he really sold me out, because I got back the next day and I read the papers. I said, that's not what we said. He's a smart customer, I will tell you that. That wasn't exactly what we agreed to.
There hasn't been this much grabbing at the White House since Clinton.
Par la discussion sur les minerais critiques qui sont en train de finaliser.
By the way, that is the most beautiful language. I have no idea what he's saying, but that is the most elegant, beautiful language.
Macron's in town to talk Ukraine and how to end the bloodbath.
I think the war could end soon. Within weeks. Yeah, I think so. Right? Don't you think so? I'd like to have you.
The lead negotiator, Donald Trump, who knows how to negotiate, talking to both parties, you know. Nobody's good, nobody's bad. It's just two people in conflict. And yes, hopefully within the next week, Trump will put an end to this war nonsense.
I think we could end it within weeks if we're smart. If we're not smart, it'll keep going and we'll keep losing young, beautiful people that shouldn't be dying. And we don't want that. And remember what I said, this could escalate into a third world war. And we don't want that either.
The Ukraine war is one of the many things started under Biden that Trump hopes to stop.
He was the worst president in the history of our country. I don't care, I'll say it. Jimmy Carter passed away recently, and he passed away a happy man. He was a happy man when he passed away because he said that it's not even close. Joe was the worst, and believe me, I have to clean up the mess. I'm cleaning up the mess, and it is a mess on the border with inflation. To go over every single thing he touched turned to okay?
Doing the opposite of what Joe Biden did is now the most...
That's crazy how Trump talks. Like, not a politician, doesn't seem to worry about what he says. He says shit, hell, God damn. The man talks crazy, non-presidential, but can't lie, he's getting it done.
Popular thing in the country. Voters by wide margins support deportations, Doge, tariffs, closing the border, and ending DEI. Look at that. Trump's executive orders are so popular, he's selling merch. Gulf of America and Make Greenland Great Again t-shirts flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Last week, Trump met with Apple's CEO in the Oval, and now the company's making its largest investment ever in the United States.
$500 billion. Wow.
$500 billion. 20,000 new jobs. A lot of that's going to red states, too. Even MSNBC has to admit Trump's winning.
Over the weekend, I read all these headlines, and the headlines were like, Trump suffers legal blows. Another one was Trump get hit with unexpected loss. People watching those headlines, especially people who don't like Trump, are going to think Trump is getting his butt kicked. And then when he wins, invariably, he's going to win some of these cases. They're going to say, well, what happened to all the butt kicking?
Good headlines, bad headlines. The Trump team knows how to handle the media.
Mr. Secretary, why did you select an underqualified retired lieutenant general to be the next chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff?
I'm gonna choose to reject your unqualified question. Who's next?
Hegseth's going to Guantanamo Bay tomorrow. The press won't like that either, but this administration really doesn't care.
Husband doesn't give a shit.
Don't care. The media in the back room, I'm sure I'll be reading a lot of hit pieces on me tomorrow. I don't give a what you think about me. I wake up every day for the last 4 years pissed off because the Biden administration took the most secure border in my lifetime and unsecured it on purpose, right? I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I ever worked for took steps to secure the border. Even Clinton and Obama took steps to secure the border.
Migrants used to get treated like celebrities under Joe Biden.
Yeah.
A new report shows Biden let illegals cut through airport security lines faster than you and me. And I have pre-check and clear. They had their own migrant express line. All they needed to do to get on the plane was the little border app they used to break into the country. That's all over now, and the migrants know it. Now it's time for sanctuary cities to get the message.
I read a story last night, the police commissioner of Boston.
Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts, man.
Office of ICE. I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
If Homan doesn't get you, Bondi will.
I sued the state of Illinois. I sued the governor, and I said, if you don't stop, you're next. New York kept going. They were belligerent, sued New York, sued the governor, not going to stop. So, you know, you're going to be next if you're not watching what we're doing, and we will be successful.
We've never had a Justice Department like this. Bondi's running the show with Cash in charge of the FBI, and Cash just picked Dan Bongino to be the new deputy director of the FBI. Bongino's former NYPD and Secret Service, and he's ready to revamp the Bureau. Listen.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, we are going to try our best. Every single thing I have in me, every single strand of DNA cell.
You know, I was hoping that this guy was going to be like the head of the Secret Service agency. That was my thought.
All of my body is going to be dedicated towards keeping this homeland safe, no matter what. No matter what, that's my job.
Tough.
We're going to reestablish faith in this institution. And the good people there doing their job, hitting the streets, developing sources. We'll have your back.
Michael Waltz is America's national security advisor. So when you hear that Bongino's coming on, I'm sure you guys are going to be in the same rooms. What's that mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what Dan just said. It's about restoring public trust in our national law enforcement institutions. It's about focusing the national security apparatus of the United States either on defeating our enemies abroad or keeping our enemies out of the United States, and then going after the bad guys and leaving the political nonsense aside and cleaning house in the leadership. And one of the things about Dan,
that's people doing their jobs, you know, because we have a lot of people on the sideline complaining about it, complaining what needs to be done or what should be done. And then there's people that take on their job and just know what needs to be done and goes all out, you know, gives it 100%. It's a lot of police officers, school teachers, and FBI agents that does their job no matter what the salary is. It's just the job that needs to be done.
is the agents are going to respect him. They're going to respect Cash, and they're certainly going to respect Attorney General Bondi because they're going to lead by example, leave politics aside, and stay mission focused in line with President Trump's America First agenda. It's really, I mean, Jesse.
Fired. He's already pumping me up just listening to how dedicated he's going to take this position. You talked about the trust. We're now hearing about this transgender sex chat room at the NSA. Ratcliffe says he's looking into it. There was actually apparently a CIA agent that was in this thing. You know, they're getting sex change operations and they're bragging about it on work platforms. Is this a national security threat?
Well, it's unacceptable. I have no doubt that John Ratcliffe will clean it up and clear these people out.
It's insane.
And again, it's about being mission focused. As we were just talking about with Dan, it's focused on career criminals, spies, and bad guys, not on parents or Catholics. And in this case, look, we have whether it's cyber attacks, the Chinese, the North Koreans, or what have you, we've got plenty of threats abroad that should take up the entire workday and take everything we've got to keep America safe. And the new leadership that President Trump's putting in place is going to be focused on exactly that and just get the politics and the nonsense out of our national security community.
Did you put together your 5 bullet points of accomplishments from last week?
I can't talk about them, Jesse, but I can talk about this. President Trump is, I don't know, as you saw today, focused on ending the war in Russia, Ukraine, getting hostages out, 29 just since he said all hell to pay, people releasing Americans for free, not trading them for arms dealers, securing our border, going after cartels, securing the Arctic with Greenland, getting China out of the Panama.
Again, he's talking about people doing their job with a government salary. We need more and more of those people that just realize that every job needs to be taken seriously and to the highest level they can possibly.
Now, I don't know, where do you want me to stop? But this is all President Trump's leadership, and we're just executing.
All right. It sounds like you got a lot of bullet points there, and I don't need to know the details, and no one else does. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
I'll tell Elon.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Well, Kamala and Jane Fonda, a match made in heaven.
All right, it's about to go into commercial, but you know what? It's a message that needs to be sent out, especially those who don't have the connection to start a job at a private company at the top. You know, everybody got to start from the bottom. And wherever it is that you start, you just got to do a great job, you know, and that's hard for a lot of people. That even though there's other people in the firm or in the job that is not doing so well, that's not an excuse for you not to do so well. You got to do your best. Every job matters. Otherwise, if it doesn't matter, switch jobs. Go somewhere else. Get out of that office or wherever it is that you're at. I used to work as a school teacher. I didn't enjoy the job, you know, so I switched different positions. Didn't stick around. And that's basically the message that's being sent by the government now. Here we go.
Democrats are in deep trouble. One big shot donor told The Hill, quote, "I'll be blunt here. The Democratic Party is effing terrible, plain and simple. In fact, it doesn't get much worse." Yikes. Who's to blame for this? Well, you could start with Kamala. She lost the White House, both chambers of Congress, and $2 billion in campaign cash. Yeah. But hey, at least she won a participation trophy.
We missed that kiss. We missed that kiss. One more.
Gross. Her acceptance speech was classic Kamala, and her message to her party was simple. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
She doesn't know how to talk. How embarrassing.
Some look at this moment and rightly feel the weight of history. Some see the flames on our horizons, the rising waters in our cities, the shadows gathering over our democracy, and ask, what do we do now? But we know exactly what to do.
You know, the people listening to her are just as bad, saying, yeah, you're 100%.
Because we have done it before, and we will do it again.
What?
And that is why Stephen A. Smith, not Kamala, is the Democrats' top option. Then over at the SAG Awards, Hanoi Jane got on the podium and said it's time for a revolution.
These people talk in like puzzles that make you think like, what the hell are they talking about? Am I dumb or are they saying something dumb?
No mistake, empathy is not weak or woke. And by the way, woke just means you give a damn about other people. Have any of you
No, it doesn't. It means you're crazy.
ever watched a documentary of one of the great social movements like apartheid or our civil rights movement or Stonewall's? We are in our documentary moment. This is it. And it's not a rehearsal. This is it. And we mustn't for a moment kid ourselves.
She sounds woke.
About what's happening.
Over in Atlanta, a megachurch pastor is mad at a group of Black Trump supporters who went to the White House. Viewer warning, what you're about to hear is extra racist.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid of the spooks that sat at the door. These runaway slaves hiding in the White House. I feel bad for them in the White House who are in there tap dancing for massa, wearing bow ties and grinding, laughing like nothing is fun.
They always say those things to anybody who is doing good. If you're doing great, if you're at the good spot, like at the White House or like at a company doing great, look at the hate that you end up getting. That's always the case. You get haters. Haters will hate.
funny. Get out of there, Negro, and stand with your people so that you understand that God is on our side.
Stand with your people. What? At the poverty line? Hungry? Begging for food and begging for money? No.
You can't offend people into voting Democrat again. This should be a wake-up call for the left. Bill Maher gets it.
Gender affirming care saves a lot of lives. There is a war on that group of people from the right to make salient extreme cases, edge cases, not for the purposes of stopping those, but for doing what the Trump administration is doing entirely, which is stopping all gender affirming care altogether and making trans people fucking nervous when they have to pee at the airport.
You want to lose every election, just keep coming down on the side of parents coming in second in a who gets to decide what goes on with my kid contest.
Watch out, Bill. Disagreeing with the left will get you booted from the party. Even celebrities like Woody Harrelson are taking note.
Yeah.
I guess the progressives, are they now the conservatives? We got to change the term because progressives seem a lot less progressive.
Meanwhile, over at NBC, they're doging the entire lineup. Lester Holt's out at the nightly news, and MSNBC just took an axe to a bunch of shows. Joy Reid, canceled. Jonathan Capehart, canceled. Remember, he's the guy who had to wake Biden up during an interview last year. There's only one way for Democrats to avoid political extinction. They need to avoid identity politics. No more race baiting, no more pronouns, no more insanity.
They got to get back to the center. If they ever were at the center, because every time we talk about Democrats, that's like the left side, Republicans, the right side. But really, we are looking for the center, who's really making sense.
Problem with Democrats right now is they can't have a convo and make jokes about pronouns because they're like, that group's going to be upset. They can't have a convo and make a gay joke because that group's going to be upset. They can't have a convo about migrants or something like that because they're like, that's going to be upset. They can't have combos about anything. So they're kind of standing there neutered. They can be eloquent. They can be brilliant. They can be smart like a Buttigieg, but they can't be relatable. It's over for the.
That's insane, man. They are going to lose. I don't see Democrats coming back for the next 8 to 10 years.
People. And that's one of the reasons why they voted for Trump, but it's not over for the party. But I need a Democrat to be like, yo, furries are weird.
Michael Duncan and John Ashbrook are the co-hosts of the Ruthless podcast. All right, Mike. Kamala got an image award at the NAACP. Her image is good?
Yeah, I'm shocked by that. I subscribe to the Ricky Bobby rule of politics. If you ain't first, you're last. And I don't know, when in this country do you start giving victory laps to second place?
I think they.
Yeah, they were giving trophies just for participating. People who don't have the skills or aren't any good, just getting participation trophies. That was big on the left.
Just do that at the NAACP Image Awards, but I've never been up for an award, so I don't know. The Hanoi Jane speech, could you interpret that for me, John? I had a hard time understanding what you said.
I'll tell you, Jesse, I think my mom had a workout tape from Jane Fonda back in the 80s. And my guess is that now that people have Ozempic and GLP-1, they don't need the Jane Fonda workout tape anymore. So they're turning to her for other things. And apparently she is saying, you know, what Democrats need to do to win election. My guess is they don't need to listen to her.
They shouldn't have listened to her ever. But she does look great, and maybe the workouts are still working. Can you explain why Democrats, for instance, Mike, can't say furries are weird?
They're entirely captured by their activist base. And if they hope to raise any money this cycle, they're going to keep being captured by their activist base. They can't say the obvious thing. That is why you got Chuck Schumer has all the personality of a wet dish rag outside.
And it must be also that a lot of these weirdos are now millionaires and billionaires and are the ones making the donations. I mean, it got to be the only reason that these weirdos, like with the sex change and like furries, they're the ones with the money. They're the ones donating to the Democratic Party. And that's why they're getting so much support, because they're donating so much money.
the CFPB holding a rally. I mean, they're shocked that people aren't opening up their wallets to donate to this party. They don't actually stand for anything. All they do is regurgitate the talking points of their radical base.
So they're not getting the money from the regular people. They're not getting the $1 and $2. They're really just working with the weirdos, those multimillionaires and billionaires who are giving them the donations and then requesting support for whatever cause they have. And because it's a money game, that's going to keep the left, way left, doing weird things.
You know, John, Chuck Schumer is holding up an avocado. Musk is holding up a chainsaw. One is more convincing.
Yeah, here's the thing, Jesse. We started this segment with Kamala Harris, and Democrats appear to be ready to turn the page on her. Republicans want justice for Kamala Harris, and justice for Kamala Harris cannot happen unless she has 2 years to be front and center for their party. She needs a full run for president of the United States, not just this like 3 or 4 months they gave her. She has to be the face of their party.
Yes, I agree. And she should pick Hanoi Jane as her running mate. And
great idea.
We will just dine out on that for the rest of our careers.
Yeah, if she runs for president, they ain't never going to win. That means it's over for the Democratic Party because that woman doesn't know how to talk. And Jane Fonda, she is woke. And nobody wants to hear that. All right? They're the ones making the millions and billions of dollars, but not the voters. The voters don't see none of that money.
Gentlemen, you're very well dressed. You make yourselves much better looking than you actually are. Thank you so much. Well, Johnny looks for Joe Biden in Delaware.
All right, that's it for now. So that's the Jesse Waters Primetime Show. This is my new format. Hopefully you enjoyed the video clip. And if you did, make sure you hit the like button. So like that, I could keep doing this and bring you shows every single day. Now, my intentions are to bring you guys this show every day and provide good commentary that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, we are all who we got left. All right. My name is Noel here at Verbal on Life, a retired school teacher now, now in retirement, and using my time in this platform to just express myself and bring you guys my point of view. Talking, I'm losing my voice. I got to get used to this podcasting. Hopefully you enjoy the show because this is what it's all about. All right. So far right now, I'm streaming on my Verbal in Exile YouTube page because I am in exile. Hopefully I get back to Verbal on Life. Right now, my show got 2 strikes, copyright strikes, but learn my lesson. Hopefully this doesn't get a copyright strike. I keep saying hopefully a lot. That's another bad common sense word that I got to get out of my vocabulary. And I got to talk a little bit slower. I talk way too fast. But you know what? Learning my experiences as I go. Tomorrow's show is going to be way better. Make sure to come back to this channel. And what was the point that Jesse Waters was making? The fact that we need more government workers doing their job and not just collecting the check. Okay? Donald Trump is just showing us the importance of doing your job. A lot of people are getting fired, but hopefully, I keep saying hopefully, those people that got fired will get a job in the private sector. And that's what most of the job needs to be, in the private sector. Government jobs are no good. Salaries in the public, salaries in government jobs just go up with inflation. So you don't really see like you're making a whole lot of money. You make just enough to pay the rent and pay yourself a living. Hopefully you make it to 65 to live off Social Security like I'm doing. I'm 45 living off Social Security. Not a lot of money, but enough for me to pay the mortgage. Got myself this house. Now I got this living room big enough for me to record my videos every day. So this is my new job. So far, I make like $100 every 6 months until my channel blows up. With your help, more viewers will come in, make a living out of this. But that's just what I'm thinking. With that said, been online now for like 50 minutes. Oh, by the way, last week my wife filed for divorce. So the show is going to get even better.